Right before we jump into this video, if you'd like me to send you a free guide to capturing motion in low-light situations, just look for this orange box over on FroKnowsPhoto.com, put your name, email address in it, hit send it. I'm going to send you that guide for free. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and in this video, I want to help people who are on Sony E-mount try to find that new budget-friendly mid-range zoom, anywhere from 20 to 70 or 28 to 70, 24 to 70. There's a ton of different options, as you can see right here in front of me, but I want to go through each of them and try to help you decide which one might be the right one for you when you're taking a step up from, say, a kit lens that is the first lens that you ever got, and now you start to understand that better glass will help you get better results for your stills as well as for video. So I'm going to go over all of the lenses that we have here, but keep in mind, if you see an orange sticker on it, well, that means we don't have the lens with us anymore because we had to send them back. We don't get to keep all the lenses that we review, but since I mentioned review, we have a review of all of these lenses. They are linked down below so you can watch them independently to see the results that you get from each of them and can help you decide which direction is right for you. Now, there's 3 different brands of lenses that we have up here. You may have a Sony camera that has an E-mount, and all of these lenses work on the E-mount. There's Tamron, there's Sigma, and there's also, of course, Sony. Sony being the native manufacturer for their types of lenses. Now, you do have something called third-party glass. That's from Tamron and that's from Sigma, but it still has an E-mount and it does work on your Sony E-mount cameras. So I'm going to start here on my left, your right, and go over the lenses that we have on the table. This one would be the Tamron 20 to 40 2.8. It starts at $699. As we move to the right, there's a Sigma 28 to 70 2.8 DGDN that's normally priced at $899. Tamron also makes a 28 to 75, so it goes from 28 to 75 and not just 28 to 70. It is also a 2.8 and is priced at $899. Then we have a 20 to 70 f4. That is one of the largest ranges of these lenses up here. 20 is a wide angle, to 70 is your mid-range zoom, but to go from 20 to 70 is pretty extreme, and this is the only f4 lens up here. All of the others are 2.8s. 2.8 is the amount of light that is let in. f4 lets in a little bit less, and in lower light situations means you need to raise your ISO. I've always been about 2.8 or betters, so personally for me, I might not look for a 20 to 70 millimeter lens, but if you're someone who isn't going to be a professional and you want more range and more bang for your buck to go from 20 to 70 and have an f4, that might be a right choice for you. Now, even though it's an f4, because it has such a large range of 20 to 70, it's $1,100. Keep that in mind when you're making your decision, because there's other lenses up here that are $1,100 as well that are straight 2.8s, meaning they're 2.8 all the way through, not f4 all the way through. Continuing on, we have the Sony 24 to 50 2.8G, which is the newest lens at the time of recording this up here on the table. This is also a 2.8. It's also $1,100, and Sony's big selling point on this lens is its compactness. It's basically the same size or slightly smaller than Tamron's 20 to 40, and you have a larger range of 24 to 50, but it doesn't go as wide in that situation. So keep that in mind, $1,100, but ultra small at 24 to 50. And then you've got the Sigma 24 to 70 2.8 DGDN Art, which is $1,100. I love this lens. As someone who's a professional, at the time 2 years ago when Sony didn't have a good 24 to 70 2.8, I took this bad boy on the road and got fantastic, great results with it, and it's an $1,100 lens. Just for fun, I have 2 other lenses up here just to show you that there's other options as well. There's a Tamron 35 to 150 f2 to 2.8, but that lens is more close to $2,000. but that is a one lens to rule them all type of lens. You should check out the review that I did of that one, but it's not small, it's not light, and it's not inexpensive. Now, on the highest end that Sony offers for their E-mount, they have a 24-70 2.8 version 2. It's the second version that they've released, and that is a fantastic lens. If money is no question, money is no object, you go ahead and pick this one up at $2,300. But I just wanted to show you that there's the expensive option, there's something that's a little more variable with a 35 to 150, but keep all of that in mind because the ones that are up in front of me, we're looking at anywhere from $700 up to $1,100. Let me cut in here real quick because I gotta show you this photo taken with a Sony camera and edited with FroPak 4, starting with Blue's Clues. We've got C41, we've got Copper Tone, High C, Kaleidoscope, Mel Brooks, Saltwater Taffy, and Thick. But all new to FroPak 4, we've got X1, X2, X3, and X4, which are adaptive presets. Check out the one called Face Enhance. With one click, come over here to Mask and look at all of the custom masks that it makes for you with one click. Let's say we want to change the hair. I click on it. Oh, that hair's looking baller. But what if we want to make those eyes a little brighter? I click on Eyes or Iris. It's already selected. And boom, I can just make them ever so brighter to make them stand out even more. So much power with one click. So look, if you want to speed up your raw workflow, give yourself a great starting point. You want to use these on mobile, they work on mobile. Well, we created 14 all new custom Lightroom presets that you can check out right now at FroKnowsPhoto.com/FroPak4. While you're over there, you can play with the sliders to see the befores and the afters. And if you decide to pick them up right now, they are currently on sale. Or if you want to get the Grand Slam bundle that is FroPak 1, 2, 3, and 4, and of course includes the adaptive presets, you can save even more. Now, let's get back to the video. So here's the things you need to ask yourself when you're deciding which one of these lenses might be the right one for you. Does brand matter? Do you want to stick with the Sony brand, which tends to be a little bit more expensive than the Tamron or Sigma? That's for you to decide when you're starting out. As a full-time pro, I always look to buy the actual brand, the native brand myself. That's just a personal choice. I want to use the best of the best with honor, sir. But with that being said, there is nothing wrong with all of the Tamrons and Sigma lenses that you see up here. Now, for those of you who have the fastest shooting Sony cameras, the A9 III, the A1, the A9 series, keep in mind that the Tamrons and Sigmas will not be able to utilize the fastest shooting speeds over 15 frames a second. If your camera doesn't shoot at over 15 frames a second, you don't have to worry about it, but the Sony lenses up on the table here will be able to take advantage of the 30 frames a second, and some of them can take advantage of the 120 frames a second for future cameras as well as the A9 III. That's something to also keep in mind. Now, I do find that the Tamron lenses tend to be a little less expensive in some situations than the Sigma, and some people like the smaller, lighter, more compactness of the Tamron lenses. Now, the Sigmas sometimes are slightly larger for something that's a similar focal length, but sometimes I feel like they're built a little bit better. Now, the best lens up here in this budget option, now we say budget option because it's anywhere from $700 up to the $1,100, is this 24-70 2.8 art lens from Sigma. If you have $1,100 to spend, I'm not going to spend it on a 20-70 f4 because it's an f4. I want 2.8 or better. It just looks better. It lets more light in. I think the contrast and tones are going to be much better. I found this to be one of the most fantastic professional lenses that you can buy, and at $1,100, it to me is a much better choice than a 24-50 Sony G lens that's a 2.8. Yeah, it's smaller, it's more compact, but as a photographer, I want more of a range of 24-70. And yes, the size and weight difference is slightly different. You've got 1.84 pounds or 835 grams here, whereas this is 15.6 ounces or 440 grams. It's basically half the size and half the weight. If the weight and size is a big determining factor to you and you're okay with spending $1,100, well, go ahead and spend $1,100 on that, but personally, that wouldn't be my first choice. Let me jump in here real quick and say, would you like to pick up any of the lenses that I talked about here, or are you looking for some new or used gear? Check out allenscamera.com. They are linked down below. They've supported me since day one of me doing FroKnowsPhoto in 2010.
What's your name? Alan.
And I continue to support them because they're a mom and pop that's been around for 45 years. So if you want to pick up any of these lenses, please use our affiliate links, which are down below. You have the Sigma 28 to 70 2.8 and the 28 to 75 2.8 from Tamron. They also make other lenses in kind of like a trinity. Tamron makes a 70 to 180. So if you were going to purchase this Tamron lens, you would then look into the other Tamron lenses to help you save some money. And these lenses all hold their value much better than kit lenses or variable aperture lenses that just aren't as good of a quality. So keep that in mind when you're making a purchase, is that you could probably get a good amount of money out of any of these lenses if you go to sell them or trade them in a few years down the road and you decide that, hey, I want to get something like a $2,300 lens over here. So you have to decide, do you want the Tamron? Do you want the Sigma? Do you want to stick with the native? And where is your money best spent? I said my favorite choice up here is the 24 to 70 2.8 a bunch of times. If money's no object, the Sony top of the line matters, but you can't go wrong with any of the lenses up here. Once again, we have individual videos on all of these lenses that are linked down below so that you can see what each one of them is capable of before you make your final decision on what works best for you. Which one of these lenses would be your choice? Let me know down below. Thank you guys very much for watching. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.